Hey yo, hey yo, hey. Hey yo, Coach in the Fight here. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, Coach in the Fight here. Hey yo, hey yo, Coach in the Fight here. Hey, 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 yo. Hey, hey, yo. Hi, that don't sound good at all. Hey y'all, Coach in the Fight here. And in today's video, we're gonna be guys to come to the Hillbilly Homestead, to the Hebrew school, the Yahuwah school, where we're learning Hebrew. Here at the Hillbilly Homestead, Repton, Alabama, 36475 is our zip code. You can reach me at inthefight@yahoo.com. That's inthefight@yahoo.com. If you'd like to come here for a visit, or even stay a little longer, especially if you're interested in help building a Hebrew school, we are building here. Have access to a lot of building material at the moment. And so if you have building skills, you particularly need it. But people who are generally interested in learning Hebrew. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about in this video is the Tower of Babel. Y'all got to excuse the squeaky chair I'm in, but we're going to talk about the Tower of Babel and its relationship to Hebrew and how it relates to now. Because I think our Father has given me an epiphany in the last few minutes as far as the Tower of Babel. I was walking back preparing to do this video, and he brought it to my attention on the way how the Tower of Babel went down and how it would go back. See, you had the pure language and then those who speak something else. Now, of course, you have the fire languages. There are 5 of them. And then you have the people that speak something else. Well, at some point, there was a disconnect between the people who speak or spoke the original language and those who spoke an alternative language. And because they really spoke different languages, they disconnected and parted ways and actually went off. The families broke up and everything. And it's happening now. Those of us who are studying and learning, and especially the ones of us who are using Hebrew, are finding ourselves more distant from those who are insisting on using English or some other modern language. And so it's creating separation. It has created separation. That's what created the separation back there in the Tower of Babel. You have slight variations in the language. Some who want to speak with diphthongs, while others who want to pronounce every syllable. And just like you have now, the only problem with it is that it creates a barrier, no different than it does in a community that speaks Ebonics, opposed to a community that insists on speaking proper English. They won't be able to hang out too much together, if you know what I mean. Well, that's how the Tower of Babel works, where you have those who are pronouncing the words correctly, like Yahweh Shawana, or Hosanna, or Hallelujah. And then those who wanted to truncate words and say words like Shalom. And other truncated words. And so what happens is those have imprints on your brain. When you start to truncate the syllables, you actually start to truncate the meaning. And so a name that should have been Sata Esauya turns into Stacy. Or a name like Kaleyafa Rada turns into Cliff. I didn't do it right. I messed it up. You know what I mean? And by doing that, you actually start messing up the language and what stuff means. Simply by how it sounds in your brain and when you think about the word. And so that's creating a disconnect from those who wanted to keep the proper language and those who wanted to talk something else. And you still see that barrier today. Except now it's going the other way. Where those who are starting to learn Hebrew are starting to get disconnected from their three-dimensional family. And that's what this video is about, a reach out and a call for those of you in the fifth dimensional family who are particularly interested in learning Hebrew and ain't quite settled in on your particular habitat at this particular moment and don't mind taking a little journey down to the dirty South, what we call Dixieland in Alabama. Because I need some help building this school. I'm by myself. By myself. Sometimes you have to pronounce every syllable of the word. When it comes to Hebrew school, and I need some help building it. Construction, formatting the letters, creating tables, writing diagram, practice sheets. We need to organize study halls. We need smart boards and teachers, instructors, people to stand in front of the students to manage the chaos. We need, and I speak for me and Elohim, we need help here at the Hillbilly Homestead. And you're welcome to come. Okay? All I'm told to do is that you pray and ask Father that it be His will that you come. You don't want to just jump out there and come under your own accord, nor do you want to come under mine. You don't want to say, "Hey, Coach, can I come?" Because well, you can, but I'm just gonna go pray and draw lots on it. It's always okay with me. And as far as I'm concerned, it's always okay with him. But it's really going to be up to you, because you have to understand that you will be expected to obey the law here. Exodus chapter 20, better read it. Exodus chapter 21, you better read that too. Exodus chapter 23, yep, don't forget that one. Exodus chapter, which one did I forget? Ooh, yeah. 20, 21, 22, and 23. 4 chapters is the covenant. And you will be expected to live by it. If you break it in any way, you will be excommunicated. You would have to go back home. So just read it. It ain't that hard. Go ahead and read it. For those of you who ain't going to crack the book and read it, yeah, it's completely impossible. You will not be able to do it all. For those of you who are going to rely on somebody else to tell you what it means, yeah, no, you ain't going to be able to do it either. But those of you who are already looking for your Bible and trying to find Exodus chapter 20, yeah, you the perfect person to come on down to the Hillbilly Homestead. Oh, it ain't that hard. Exodus chapter 20, that's the 10 Commandments. Exodus chapter 21, that's the judgments. Exodus chapter 22, that's still more judgments. And then Exodus chapter 23 contains the statutes as well as the covenant angel who will have to assist you when you come down here. And that's the thing. You can't come under your own accord. And if you do, I can't help you. You have to come with the covenant angel just like I did and everybody else did. Else you have to be part, of somebody who's leading you, or like a husband or something like that. But the primary thing at this time is Hebrew school, Yahweh school, the letters, the Hebrew letters. That's what we're talking about. If you don't want to learn Hebrew, don't come right now. When we come later on, we'll have another shout out when we start learning clocks. We'll have another shout out when we start talking about the Messiah's name and that, but that'll be on down the road, Abba willing. Abba willing. We're praying for his will. But right now, the most important thing is the letters. Because once you speak the language, you stop talking about reality and you start controlling reality. You stop talking about it and you start controlling it. When you start speaking Yahweh, the original language. So if you're interested in a school, help building a school, even if it's just come temporarily, you're gonna come for the weekend, or you're gonna come for a feast day, or you're gonna just like give me a shout again. That's inthefight@yahoo.com. Inthefight@yahoo.com. Else, what will happen is you will have a separation, a disconnect as I particularly continue to learn the language, and I'm not going to stop. As by myself as I may be, I'll study it by myself in my room if I have to. But the thing about it, the Tower of Babel creates separation. So what are the other people on the compound? There's about 10 or 12 other people on the compound that's not particularly interested in Hebrew. Well, what are they going to do when I, who am the owner of the property, main steward of the property, whatever you have to call it, is speaking a whole nother language? Well, I'm starting to see, that's why I'm starting to say, hey, why don't y'all come down here and help me build this school? Come fast. Hurry up. Mechanics. We need mechanics, carpenters, electricians. Well, we need everybody. But right now we're building a Hebrew school. So if you have some type of talent, skill, ability to help with the school, come on. If you want to learn Hebrew and come in as a student, come on. If you want to do so online, that's cool too. You can stay where you're at and you can be part of the school by simply being a cheerleader from where you are. You can be a cheerleader from where you are. You can support from where you are. When we throw up something about Hebrew, you can act like you like it even if you don't. Or act like you know what I mean, be a cheerleader. Like I've heard this before, Coach, but I'm going to give a comment anyway. Y'all pray for my health out there. That's the thing about the poison of the modern letters, especially the modern letters, all of them. They are having a negative effect on our health and other things as well. So y'all pray for health issues here at the Hillbilly Homestead. Not just mine, but y'all pray for everybody here at the Hillbilly Homestead. Let me jump over here to the comments. I think we got one or two. Been a long time. Should have left you without strong song step 2. Valerie J. Chapin says, hi, I haven't been here for a while. Last time, nice to be back to your voice again. Interested in your kitchen too. What? Interested in your kitchen? How are you interested in my kitchen? What about my kitchen? Let me read that again. Valerie Chapin. I haven't been here for a while. Last time. Nice to be back. To your voice again. Interested in your kitchen too. Kitchen. And I appreciate that. Thank you for the feedback. And that's all I got is a voice, y'all. And so I appreciate, you mentioning that because that's all we are. Us out here in this wilderness, that's all we are is a voice. We're not a face. We're not a... nothing else, really, just a voice. But anyway. My kitchen. Did she get any more comments? Oh, so I'm going to have to guess what she means by interested in my kitchen. My kitchen is very interesting. I do not have a refrigerator. Normally I don't have a stove. Like what you would consider a kitchen stove. But I do now have a camping stove that I purchased for my wife to make things a little easier on her. Because normally we cook on an old-fashioned wood burning stove year-round. Even in the summertime here in Alabama, we would be out, cooking biscuits on a wood-burning stove. And so there's no refrigeration. So you have a lot of food preservation going on, salting, pickling, And it's not as much as I'm saying, but you can get an understanding. We've made cheese here before, made our own mayonnaise out of the eggs from the backyard, making wine. Um, um, Now, normally we would have deer hams hanging on the wall in our kitchen. And yes, one thing I want to do more is actually go and watch those shows like Little House on the Prairie. And I have done it once or twice where I just sit there and look at the background and what they had in the background of their kitchen and be like, yeah, I need a big sack of flour. I need a big sack of rice. And I do. Yeah, I got them. You know, big bags of salt. Um, the kitchen is designed for no electricity, like a power outage. Like if you was to just lose power altogether, no power never come back on. It'll never come back on. Matter of fact, we don't have electricity in the kitchen. We run off of solar power. But let's say a meteor hit our, or whatever that thing is that hit the ground. Well, if it actually destroyed our system, the kitchen itself is designed without. It's designed for no electricity. Um, Their ventilation, there's what they call it, passive ventilation systems built into the ceiling of the house. The house is from the 1800s, but I modified it a little bit, as you can imagine. And so you have passive ventilation systems in the house and active. I can flip a switch and turn on a fan and suck all the fumes out of the house, like most houses. But you actually can use it to pull the heat out. But you have a big window in the house that's big enough to cast light onto the dining room table, which could seat about 10 people. We've had 10 people there at one time, 10 family members eating dinner there. And so you can have 10 people there studying, and the window casts enough light that you don't need any more light whatsoever. All 10 people would have enough light to read their Bible, do their work. And it's designed that way on purpose, knowing that one day we'll be without electricity. So the walls are all made of wood, solid wood. It's like, I would hate to call it lighter wood, but it actually smells like kindling wood because it actually is pine wood from the 1800s. So the walls are all wood. The floors are wood, ceilings wood, everything wood. A lot of cast iron, but I don't know. I don't know if that's what you was talking about. I'm about to give me a Keurig though. If I could, I'm about to get a Keurig though. Anyway, how you know about my kitchen? Tell me about yours. Warrior Princess of the Most High Yah says, Shalawama, coach and family, and in the fight family. Peace, love, and light. Appreciate you having you come on. Thank you for coming on. Long time no hear from. Let's see how many people. We got 4 people here, which means that the same 6 ain't around. So I'm gonna we missing 2. 2 people, and that's to be expected. YouTube could have unsubscribed them by now. And you got to check that when YouTube tries to clear up your subscription, and when they'll go in and they'll unsubscribe you for some of your channels. If you missing somebody you used to listen to and you thought that you ain't heard from them for a while, you better go over and check their channel. You may have been unsubscribed inadvertently by YouTube. It's an algorithm. It ain't. Don't take it personal, and we don't either. YouTube will unsubscribe you. They have unsubscribed my wife and children before. Anyway, so I appreciate you guys who are staying on top of that and making sure you are, because I ain't forgot about you guys. The learning is intensive, as you guys know by now. For you guys who been around, like the last son has been around for a while. He said Shalawama coach and family. The last son has been around for a while. You can see that wrench there. You guys know that when I get quiet and the videos don't come, you know that there's intensive learning. You can't imagine, y'all. One of you guys from YouTube has actually moved in onto my property and is actually literally building a house in the background. If I be quiet enough, you can actually hear the house being built on the property in the background right now. Let me listen. Yeah, I can hear it. I'll walk out there. I'll walk out there close enough for you to hear it, just so you know. I hope I can. If it gets choppy, y'all let me know. But it should be already. Y'all hear the chickens? Pop going around, I'm telling you. And I need help building this school. We building around here. Now we need to build a school. We're building houses, but and not just a school for the Hebrew. It's supposed to be a elevation center for the people around to have a central place where they can come in the morning at dawn and elevate, with warm liquids and heat and fellowship and music and things that elevate. It's supposed to be a multi-purpose little thing, but it also have a computer center in there where the students can study the Hebrew letters. You can get printouts that they could take and study with them, even if they was to go back home and they had some stuff to take with them, little notebooks or whatever. But anyway, so that's inthefight@yahoo.com. In the fight at yahoo.com. I can't sing, but anyway. Appreciate you. The last we had the Royal Princess of the Most High. Yes, it's just finished proofreading. Coach, Thanks for the reminder. Guys, anybody of y'all read my last book? I don't mean to break my arm or pat myself on the back. You see, I just got a reminder. I ain't even thinking about it like that, but it's the Lord's word. It's His Lord's words, His letters. It's what it's about, Hebrew words and letters and how the language works. And what it is a new way of learning the language. Unheard of. Yes, I used artificial intelligence, but it was the Elohim that came up with the idea to use the English language to learn Hebrew. And so what we can do is find common English words that can help me or help you or help anybody learn Hebrew. Like, for instance, and somebody give me an example. Pick a letter, and we're going to start, and you can pick any letter, any 20. How many letters in the alphabet? See, that's what I mean. It became 26. Pick any other, somebody, first one pick. Okay, we got a D. Now, D makes the duh sound, but what does it mean? Who is that gave us a D? That's Torah. Torah, he wrote. Said a D is in Delta, or, yeah. But in Yahweh, it's the letter Dalata. Stop being in memory space and get up there to the wall. Okay? Almost show y'all this back. Yep. Da. And it has 3 letters that would make up the name. And to understand what the letter Dalata means, you simply break it down from the back. First of all, there's a covenant. That's the tha in there. Then you have la, so it's a lesson. So Dalata has something to do with a lesson in the covenant. The letter da means door, like entranceway. So the letter Dalata has something to do with the entranceway and a lesson to the covenant. And so when you see a D word, you should always, you should always think of it in that manner. That's why you have words like door. But you also have words like deception. You have words like distance, drive. There's a connection. There's something there's a lesson in it. And so that's how the language works, or that's how the letters works. Now let me go to my computer so I can actually pull up the actual example. Oh, hey, be quiet. Okay, could we steal this? Okay, I'm gonna go over to the channel just to make sure it's still over there. I'm gonna go to the post on the channel. where you could go as well, as long as it's still over there. So if you go over to the post on the channel, you will see a lot of stuff about Hebrew on there. And I see one that said a Hebrew operating system. So I'm going to click on it. Not quite what I thought it was getting into. All right, bear with me now. What I'm going to do is go pull up the book. And then since I'm going to pull up the book, we're going to give examples of more than one letter. Just so we don't waste your time. And see, here's the thing. It's been a long time since I worked on this stuff. And because of a lack of interest, not on my part, but it's like creating distance between me and my family. I got to like choose. And so as I don't use this stuff and look at it, I'll start to lose it and forget it. And then nobody will get it. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm saying to come down and help with the school, to help preserve some of this stuff that we've learned already. Help, put it together and, get it to where we can learn something from it. And then at the same time, try to hang out, through the apocalypse. That was the original plan, to have a refuge and a place to hang out. And right now we have one person, the first person that has actually arrived here on the Hillbilly Homestead, which is very interesting because they are doing a great job of paving the way for the rest of you guys. I mean, we're building a lot of stuff. We're learning how to build. And so the next person that comes, the building process will go a lot faster. But the fact that this is taking me so long is an example of why y'all should consider actually coming down and helping me with this. But anyway, I'm still looking for it. Okay, I found the document. Those who was almost ready to give up. Sorry for the ones that did already. And I'm just looking for the letter now. Dalatai, door. So you have words like draw and deliverance and decalogue, dispersion. The relationship of the word is biblical and spiritual entry. So it has something to do with entry. Anytime you see the word, it's referring to some entry kind of way when you see the word that begins with a D. So like dispersion relates to those who have been scattered and are seeking reentry or return to their homeland. You have words like discovery or directory or doorway or direct or a docket, which is a book or a list containing brief entries of all proceedings in a court. So the docket controls the entries. The D in the word is letting you know that it has something to do with entries. And if you follow the other letters in there, the ka, the ta, you actually know what a docket is. And that's what Hebrew is doing for us. It's actually letting us unlock all the languages. So you have words like due process, decree, domicile, which is a legal permanent home or the permanent place or authoritative authorized entry, a place of authorized entry. Right? So someone choose another letter. That one was a little bit challenging. Maybe Torrey wrote been working on that one himself. But some of the others are real easy. And then you start getting into the combinations of the letters. Like I said, the Tower of Babel, where they started combining letters. Instead of saying sa-ta, they said sta. Instead of saying ga-ra, they said gra. And instead of saying ayah, they said ya. And that started changing the meanings. All right, Torrey wrote, appreciate it. Appreciate you, sir. Gave another one, Nama. Now that was easy. Whoo, that was easy. Let me go on and pull up the document. I could swim in that one. It was so easy. Because the M in the word is related to chaos. You know, even the letter is the symbol for water. When you look at the English word, the water or the stream has been cut short, whereas before it was a full stream. When you look at it in English, it is the stream has been cut short. It only has just a part, even half the stream is missing, and so now we have an M instead of a mayuma. The thing about the letter mayuma, that's the base word in the word shayamayama, or the word for heaven, shamayama. And mayama is in there, but that's the letter for M. And so it's the 13th letter in the Hebrew alabayata, the Yahweh, which literally means water, historically represented by a pictograph of waves. It symbolizes a flow of wisdom, life-giving sustenance, and the living water that purifies and transforms. So flowing things. So you have words like meander, mellifluous, momentum, mobility, motion, migration. They all have something to do with movement, because that's what the ma is. And so when you see a word that begins with ma, it has something to do with moving, like money, as in cash flow, mobility, marching, modus, move. They'll all have to do with something with flowing or going somewhere or something like that. Another one he gives is the wa. The wa is the 6th letter in the Yahweh. It has the relation, it looks like a hook in ancient Hebrew. But now when you look in other languages, it doesn't look like it could hook anything. And that's because of the modification. And that modification in the other languages is having an imprint on your heart when you think about the letter and what you do. And that's what we're talking about when we're being bombarded by American letters and such. So when we're looking at the Wawa in Yahweh, it's related to the concepts of connection and weaving. So you have words like welding, putting things together, a web, without, or without end, meaning continuing indefinitely, an expression of perpetual continuation. That's without end. You have wholeness and wavelength and warp and wisdom and will. All of those will, you have all of those words that are related to connection. You know, he said he just giving letters to his name. Keep going there. We can keep breaking them down, and what we'll do is break down your whole name at the end of it. I'm telling you what your name means. Keep going. So we have the E. Now the E gets tricky because the E is one of those letters that is a vowel, first of all. We know that there was no vowels in Yahweh did that. And so you said, well, where does it come from? It comes from the ha sound. That's why it looks like the original ha, wa, ha, the letter hawa, except it's turned on its side, as if the man is laying down or something weird like that. Instead of standing up with his hands raised as if he was praying toward the temple, the E is him actually laying on the ground with his hands still laid, facing up like he's laying in a bed or something like that. But he's got his hand laying on the side of the bed, and he's got his hands, one on the bed and the other raised up, But anyway, that's your E. And so it translates back to the Hawa. And so that's the ha sound. And so when you see the E, many times, not always, because sometimes it could go to the ya, it depends on how it sounds. So depending on, how it sounds, if it's an E sound in your name is one thing. If it's a silent sound, they try to say, then it goes back to the Hawa'a, because what it is just a breath. You're taking a breath there when you have that sound in your name. Like at the end, when you see a word with the E at the end, you're really supposed to take the breath at the end to represent the Hawa'a. But in English, we say silent, and that's because we're truncating our words, and we're not speaking the whole word. And so we say it's silent, and so we don't speak the E sound. Let me look at this page I'm looking at here and find one like the word the. It has that E at the end. It's because you got to say that at the end. That is the E at the end. What's another one? Because that was a bad example. Essence. Oh, no. Yeah, the word on this one is coalescence. So it ends in an E. And so you could say coalescence, but you really want to get that ha at the end. Coalescence. So you have that E at the end. So it's not silent at all. It's just in English, we're cutting the letters off and not pronouncing them fully. Say his first name is Dwayne, so he didn't give me the Yah in there. Let's go look at the Yah in there, which is the 10th letter in Yahweh. It has to do with action and agility. And this is one of the unique ones, right? Because they tried to hide this one from us. And so we know it has something to do with the hand and assistance and action and agility, all that kind of stuff. But where is it in the English? Like the other ones were kind of easy. But in the English, you have words like yer, which means agile or ready for action, being quick. So if somebody is yer, Y-A-R-E, if you say they are yer, you're saying they are quick, agile, and ready for action. A yerk, Y-E-R-K, yerk, instead of jerk, is to move with sudden forceful energy or to thrust with power. Now, think about that for a second. I know you can't see these words here in this thing, but a yerk is actually a jerk. When we look in the dictionary for the word jerk, we're going to get the same definition as if we was to look for the word yerk, which means to move with a sudden, forceful energy or to thrust with power. So what is that telling you about the letter J? But anyway, you have words like yield instead of jilt. Well, yield means to move quickly and effortlessly, indicating agility and personal agency. So a person could be yary and yift. No, that's yifty. I'm going to put my glasses on. That's yift. So if a person is yifty, it says they're ability to move quickly and effortlessly, indicating agility and personal agency. So the way I'm giftlessly, or I'm using gift, at least I was before I tried to do it on purpose. The gift that you hear in this video related to these words is because of the Elohim, the Most High, is helping me with this. But that's the giftiness to move quickly and effortlessly, indicating agility and personal agency. It's not really me. The stuttering and the stammering part is me. But then you have a word like yearly. You have words like yield, yoke, yank. A yank is to pull something with a sudden strong force, to yank something. And so you think about that when you're looking at the yad, the yada in the Yahawaditta, which is the symbol of an arm and a hand. That part of this that's sticking up is actually the thumb part. The part that's horizontal or normal to the surface is actually the palm facing down. And so you think of it, you can almost see it about to yank something, or to yerk, or the next word on the list is Yeezy or Yesay, Yeasay, to give an affirmative or authoritative yes, asserting the power of approval. So, yes, say. So instead of saying yes, you say yes, say. Y-E-S-S, no, I'm sorry. Y-E-A-S-A-Y. Yes, say. Not just yes, yes, say. And you other have words like Yahweh, Yang, Yearn, Yeoman, which is an attendant or an assistant, often serving as a protector or source of applied physical power. So you see the assistants, that's where the Yah come in. And so this works when you're looking at a name, when you see somebody with the beginning of their name as the Yah. If if they have a name like, what names begin with the letter Y? Ulysses? No, that's a U. Anyway, I better not think too hard on that. Let's go on. So you have Dwayne, right? So if you pronounce all of the syllables, it's Dahawa Ayana'a. Yep, the A in there is pronounced too. The A way is authoritative. The A is authoritative. And to find out what it means, we have to go back to the first letter of the Yahawaditta. And I'm already give my what is it where you say you don't know what you're talking about? But I'm gonna try my best to break down this name, but it's on the fly, so it's not gonna be perfect. But now the letter Allah, the first letter in the Yahawaditta, that what y'all call with the language formerly known as Hebrew, it means the primary source. So you have words like arch or ark, which is a Greek word meaning the beginning or origin. You have alpha, you have absolute, arbiter, which is a person who has the power to settle a dispute or decide an issue, the ultimate judge. That's an arbiter. And so that's what that A in there is talking about, power. Ascendancy is a position or a dominant power of influence. That's the ascendancy. And so when you see that A, it has something to do with power. Or axiom, which is the evident truth that serves as the starting point for further reasoning or arguments, the source of logic. So we're talking power. And so when you're breaking down the word Dwayne, you have the Na in there as well. So let's go ahead and look at it. I think that's the last letter. The Na, what Na? It's down there after the Na, Yuma. The Na, let me get it right. Oh, I can't get it right. Do I get it right? No, it's not on there. Look at the board. Make sure I got it right. It is a nawana. Nawana. It's a seed connected to a seed. When you're looking at the what is a seed connected to a seed, that's the nawana. And you say, how is a seed connected to a seed? Well, the plant grows and then produces another seed. You plant that seed and it grows into another seed. That's a nawana. It means continuation or continuity or perseverance or persistence. And so you see it in words like nexus. Nexus is a connection or series of connection linking two or more things, often serving as the central point of a continuous network. See how this new way of learning the language works? This is brand new. You're learning it brand new on this channel, y'all. So anyway, praise the Lord. Praise our Father in heaven. Hallowed be his name. Yahweh. You have the words like never ending, non-stop, normal, which is representing a standard, continuous state of being or functional. That's the continuous state, which is normal. If it's out of normal, it's not a continuous state. If it's not normal, it's not going to continue. It's abnormal. It's cancerous. It's not gonna work. It has to be normal in order to continue. Nature or nurture, to support or encourage the continuance, development of a growth of something. So if you don't have the N in nurture, you don't have any support to continue life. And so that's how this works. We're using the English language to learn Hebrew. Easy, ain't it? Easy peasy. That's why we're doing it like this. And so you praise the Lord for this opportunity. And so now you have the word Dwayne. So it's daha wa'a, or daha wa'a ya naha. Let me say it one more time because I know I messed it up. I'm saying it slow. Da hawa ayanaha. And one more time. Da hawa ayanaha. And so you have so you read it backwards. You have the ha at the end, that's a hawa, that's the spirit. Now, to me, it can either be talking about the spirit of a man or it can be talking about the man himself. You know, just a man, the symbol is a man with his hands raised, but his legs kind of look spiritual, like a ghost or something. So it's kind of go either way as far as I'm concerned. And it can be used either way as far as the Bible is concerned. The next letter we analyze is the na, one na. So you have the hawa'a and the nawana. So you have the spirit of a man, or you have the man connected to continuance. So something in this name, as we continue to decode it, is going to be the man and continuance of the man. The next one is yada. So you have the assistance in the continuance of the man. And this is why you want people to pronounce your whole name. If they call you Wayne or call you D or something like that, they take all of that away. At least they're concerned, at least as far as they're concerned. You're not a Dwayne anymore, unless they pronounce the whole word, or even go back to the Hebrew and pronounce it correctly. So then you have the A in there, which is I was talking about a leadership. So this is our Father assisting with continuation of the man, or the man being a man continuing with assistance from our Father. I'm saying it backwards. The man being the man continuing with assistance from our Father, and then you have the connection. So you have the connection, and what is it connected to? And many times that's where you start breaking these words down, is from the wa in the name, because that's what it means, is connecting. So if you have a Y in the middle of the word, like you have here, you have something at the beginning, which is the da, connected to that which is at the end, which is the ain. So what is the da and what is the ain? When I talked about the ain, that's the man continuing assistance with our Father. So it's connected to the man, or the spirit of the man, and a doorway or a passageway or an entranceway. So Dwayne, if we pronounce his name correctly, understand who he is, he lives up to the potential of his name, has something to do with an entranceway with the spirit, or the spirit of a man, in connection with our Father, giving all his children, his family, whoever recognizes him as Dwayne, giving them assistance with continuation of their spirit. Just like that. Giving all praise and Father to all praise and honor to our Father in heaven. Pauline, that's real easy. You got the ha at the end. And say Pauline or Paulina. It's Paulina. The I in there indicating insight. The L is a lesson. The U is a connection. The A is power. And the P is talking. That's going backwards. So it's supposed to be the man connected to continuation with insight, and the lesson connected to our Father and speaking. She's supposed to be talking and telling people about our Father, giving them a lesson and continuation of the Spirit. Just that easy. And that's why we need to go back to this language. You can break down people, places, whatever. People sitting there talking and you're analyzing the words that they're saying. And then when we start talking, we're going to start controlling what we're saying and controlling everything around us. And that's one of the reasons why I try to take it away. And I do say try, but the Bible itself preserved it for us. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. If you got anything out of it, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. But leave me a comment either way. And shalom. Love you guys. See you next time.